Welcome back, everyone. Let's go ahead and do a quick little comparison between the OnePlus 7T and the OnePlus 9. Now, funny enough, I actually forgot I even had the OnePlus 7T until I found it the other day, so we're going to go ahead and compare both of these. If you want to pick up either one of these, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can definitely see they are almost identically the same size for the most part. But you can tell up top that there's a little bit of a difference. The OnePlus 7T has that, I guess, V-shaped, notch up top. The OnePlus 9 has that, hole punch display on the top left. I'm not really like a humongous not fan of the OnePlus 7T. I think this one still looks good. I think the OnePlus 9 looks probably better, but to be honest, there's actually some differences already that I can tell from the display. Now, the OnePlus 7T's display I thought was really good. It's an OLED display. For the most part, it's very good. Like, I had very little issues with it. I think it looks great. You have a higher refresh rate on something like a OnePlus 9, but still, I think for the most part, this panel is very good. I have very little issues with it. You do have that 90Hz screen refresh rate as well, which is really nice. Now, the OnePlus 9, on the other hand, has that 6.55-inch Fluid AMOLED 2 display, and the biggest difference that I can tell you from here is that pretty much the OnePlus 9 has that 120Hz refresh rate. Do you notice it day to day? To be honest, not really. I think I don't know, definitely the OnePlus 9, comparing them side by side, you can see some differences. But if I mess with the OnePlus 17 and then if I mess with the OnePlus 9, you're really not going to remember too much of a difference. But I do prefer the OnePlus 9's display for sure. In terms of thickness and thickness, kind of the same thing going on. There's not really that big of a difference. But on the back, there is a little bit of a difference. The OnePlus 9 has that standard glass back. The OnePlus 7T had this kind of frosted glass back. It wasn't as prominent or profound as something like an iPhone 11 Pro or something, or a OnePlus 8, but it's still actually pretty noticeable, and I loved this type of back. And I would definitely prefer the back of the OnePlus 7T than the back of the OnePlus 9. We have the camera setups up top as well, and that's very interesting what these cameras have. USB Type-C ports on the bottom, nothing else for the most part. And in terms of that, that pretty much covers up the outside. Now, as I mentioned before, one of the bigger differences, or why I would recommend going from a OnePlus 7T to a OnePlus 9, would have to be the software experience and the software longevity. The OnePlus 9 is going to be getting you a longer lasting phone, but on top of that, probably, a better battery life performing phone too. You're getting wireless charging on this device, but you're only getting nothing on this device. You're just getting the good sized battery for sure, and it's still a really big sized battery that you're getting on the OnePlus 7T. I think the OnePlus 9 is a great phone. I just realized how low this display brightness was. I think the OnePlus 9 is a great phone. The 7T, I think, sits at that, kind of interesting age where it's going to be getting software support for probably another year or two, and then it's probably going to be done. Luckily, the software on both these phones is beautiful. I've always preferred Auction OS over really any other version of software out there, so take that as you will. But I would probably prefer something like OnePlus 9 software than OnePlus 7T. They're identically the same Android 11 right now, and Android 12 is probably going to come out for both of them, and I think Android 13 is when the OnePlus 7T is not going to get the next version of Android. So that's pretty much where we're at. So you're still getting software support. Roots and custom ROMs are already available for the OnePlus 7T, so you can go ahead, as long as that support is out there, you can keep being supported for this thing. So that's great, and I really think both these phones are dominating it in terms of the software. It really is one of my favorite aspects for sure. So in terms of software and the battery life, the OnePlus 9 definitely wins, but the 7T still has some pros as well. So in terms of that, that covers it. Now let's go into a speed comparison between both these phones. Now both these phones have tons of different variants and all that stuff. I'm going to assume that the OnePlus 9 is going to be the faster phone because it is the newer device. But one thing I've always seen is that the screen refresh rates have a lot to do with it, but it's just because of the smoothness. It doesn't really have anything to do with the speed. So without further ado, let's go and do a quick little speed comparison between both these phones. Okay, now that we're back, let me go and clear all the apps in the background. Should only take like 2 seconds. Clear out of here. We're good to go. Let's get into phone calls. 3, 2, 1. And I think the OnePlus 9 was overall faster, even though we had a little bit of a different pop-up. Let's do messages. 3, 2, 1. About the same thing. Not really that big of a difference. Chrome. 3, 2, 1. And you can see a little bit of a difference between both. Of course, we had to, load up all this stuff. Camera. 3, 2, 1. I think I may have been a little bit of a delayed clicking here, but the 7T still actually got into that faster. Animation speed-wise, you can see almost the same thing. Hopping out of this one, let's get into their Play stores. 3, 2, 1. And the OnePlus 9 definitely far faster there. The 7T definitely was just slightly behind. Getting into some, scrolling speeds, you can see again the OnePlus 9 is the faster one here for sure. the OnePlus 7T was just a little bit behind there. As always, I have a bunch of these third-party apps we can get into. Let's do Fruit Ninja. 3, 2, 1. And I want you to note also the animation speeds on the OnePlus 9. As you can see, they were on two different versions, so I would assume the OnePlus 9 would be faster if they were on the same version, so keep that in mind. But again, they were on different versions right there. Getting to the next app, which is Facebook. 3, 2, 1. I think the OnePlus 7T actually was slightly faster there. Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And this one may take a second. And you can see the OnePlus 9 is a little bit faster, but again, the 7T is like right behind it. It's very interesting. And I've said this for years. The 7T came out in 2019, so not that long ago. But the OnePlus 9, I think, was the faster one there. Again, getting into a little bit of some gameplay, you'll probably be able to see that you're probably going to be getting roughly around the same type of thing. It did glitch up a little bit on the OnePlus 7T there, but still looking to be about the same. Hopping out of this one, let's go into the next app, which is Snake versus Blocks. 3, 2, 1. And I think I clicked on something else on this device, so I'm going to go ahead and hop out of this one. I did kind of want, I guess we can go and redo it. 3, 2, 1. It's going to be interesting if the OnePlus 9 opens it up faster because, actually they open up around the same time. Because this, app was kind of already in cache, it still opened up faster on that device. Gameplay-wise, it's going to be roughly around the same. Again, it's a pretty basic game, so nothing super crazy in this specific one. Hopping out of this one, let's go ahead and do BOFA. 3, 2, 1. Kind of close, I'm not really too sure which one opened it up faster there. Dropbox, I guess I don't have. Quizlet. 3, 2, 1. OnePlus 7T was super quick there, I don't know why. Snapchat. 3, 2, 1. I want to say the OnePlus 9 is faster, but the 7T is right behind it. Twitter. 3, 2, 1. I think the OnePlus 9 was probably faster there. The 7T slightly behind. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. And again, the OnePlus 9 was faster there. OnePlus 7T just slightly behind. Getting into some gameplay, you guys can kind of saw the difference. There's not that big of a difference at all. Let's go and end it off with Netflix. 3, 2, 1. OnePlus 9 was like instantaneous. The 7T was slightly behind. So I think in terms of the gameplay and speed comparisons and stuff, it's no shocker the OnePlus 9 is going to be the faster one from what I can see. It's probably going to give you faster speeds and all that stuff. But I don't know, guys. The OnePlus 7T, as you can see, RAM management seemed to be about the same too. These phones are still extremely fast. They hold up extremely well over time. And I think these phones are probably one of the best performing Android phones of that year in terms of just the capability years after. You look at the 7T, it's a much more smoother and faster phone than you may realize from something like a Galaxy S10 or something like that. I mean, this phone has a 90 Hz refresh rate. The Galaxy S10, those phones don't have, high refresh rates at all. So in terms of that covers up the speed comparison. Let's go ahead and quickly hit on the cameras. Now, surprisingly, and I've said this for a while, the OnePlus 7T had a really interesting and good camera setup. You had a wide, ultra-wide, and telephoto lens on the 7T, whereas on the OnePlus 9, we only had the wide and ultra-wide sensor with a color filter camera. Now, with the OnePlus 7T camera, I'm definitely not going to say it's the best camera in the world, but it definitely gets the job done. The quality isn't that great, but the UI of this camera, I think, is far better than what the OnePlus 9 has. I don't know what OnePlus was thinking with whatever specific software that one's on in terms of camera UI. Zooming in and out seems to be pretty decent. You can see, you can zoom in a lot, but you also have that ultra-wide camera. And this was one of the only times that OnePlus actually put in the telephoto and ultra-wide lens on their budget-tier phone. Usually it's saved for their bigger ones, but this one had that type of capability, which I found really awesome. So this is something that this device has, and I think this overall camera quality is actually pretty good. You can do 4K at 60 on the back, but still only 1080p at 30 on the front, which is still kind of an issue because the OnePlus 9 has the same capability as well. So with the OnePlus 9, you do have that additional ultra-wide sensor, which I mentioned before is actually really cool. I like having that type of capability. With that telephoto lens, it doesn't have one, so you can't necessarily zoom in as much on something like a OnePlus 9 as you could on a OnePlus 7T, but I think this camera quality is definitely better. You have 8K capability on the back of this phone, which I think is really cool. Having that type of capability is awesome, and it's like a no-brainer. When you have that type of capability, it's awesome. I've said that twice. Now, the camera UI is something I'm not super happy about. And again, another thing, the front camera is only 1080p. And as I mentioned before, that is kind of an issue. You want to have as much capability as you can with any device out there. This device is great in terms of the back camera for the most part. for the price tag too, look, it's not that big of a difference between this one and a OnePlus 7T. I feel like both these phones are very similar in so many ways. So take it as you will, but that's kind of how I see this camera. I think it's great, but it's not really extremely far off from something like a 7T. And the 7T has a telephoto lens as well, which is pretty interesting. So take it as you will, but that's kind of how I see the camera. I kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, should you go and buy a OnePlus 7T or should you buy a OnePlus 9? Well, this is pretty much what I'll tell you. I think for sure, if you have all the money in the world, the OnePlus 9 is the better way to go, hands down. You're going to be getting a much better, more capable phone from this device than on the OnePlus 7T. This phone has a lot more capability. It's going to be lasting longer. It's faster. It's better battery life, better software longevity, all that stuff. The OnePlus 9 is the better way to go. But as you guys expected, I think the OnePlus 7T is still a tremendous phone in so many different ways. From the display, from the way it looks, from the way it feels, from the additional telephoto lens this thing has. I mean, this is like a no-brainer, and it's gone down in value quite a bit as well. This phone doesn't cost as much as it used to. You can get it for like a couple $100s. It's a solid phone, and it's almost like a no-brainer in my opinion. If you have, if you want to save some money, even if you're comfortable with custom ROMing your phones and stuff, this is the device for you. It's timeless. It's going to last you for a long time. There's nothing extremely crazy that this phone can do, the OnePlus 9, that the 7T cannot do. For day-to-day tasks, for pretty much 95% of everything you're going to do on the phone, the 7T is easily going to be able to handle it. The OnePlus 9 is the one I would recommend for people who want to buy a brand new phone and you have all the money in the world. The 9 is the better way to go, but the 7T is right behind it, and I would highly recommend this phone as well. So in terms of that pretty much covers it up. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section as well. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Like I mentioned, both these phones are linked down below, so you can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Any other questions, likes, subscribes, all that stuff. More important than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.